Hey everybody, this is Alana with FidgetHaven Reviews, and today I'm going to bring you a video on how to remove the C-clip and shields from your premium spinners Loophole and how to put them back. I picked up some one-drop Yo-Yo's Lube. I usually tend to use the Lily White sewing machine oil with fantastic zoom spout. But I wanted to try something different because I know how awesome my one-drop bearings feel. So I figured I would give this a shot. I do always run my Loophole with a little bit of lubricant in it just because I like it to be completely silent and to be utterly smooth, which it is with the sewing machine oil. I mean, can't hear it at all. And it's just incredibly smooth. It feels amazing. And it doesn't slow it down very much. So, I mean, it has worked, but, you know, one-drop lube. Why not? So, I'm going to show you how to take off the C-clip and shield, and then I'm going to go clean my bearing, and then I will come back and show you what I do to lubricate them and how to get the shield back on, which is honestly the most obnoxious part, and I have no idea how long that part's going to take me because sometimes it can take a really ridiculous amount of time. So let me take this off for you, and then I will go and clean my stuff, and then I will come back. So you're going to want to use like a sewing needle or a pin or something like that. I know sometimes people use like a knife or whatever, but you're really going to want this because it does come into play with putting these shields back on, which I will get to at that point. So what you're going to want to do is take your pin, and let me get this to focus. You can see there's a tiny little break in the C-clip there. What you want to do is take your pin and stick it underneath just to pop it out a little bit, and then the whole C-clip comes out. So there you have your C-clip. And then you just want to flip it over and out comes your shield. So here is the bearing, still quiet, still wonderful. So let me go clean this and then I will be back and I will show you the next part. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have returned. I've cleaned my Loophole, and this is what it sounds like when it's dry. It's still not loud. I mean, I'm sure my camera picks it up more than it actually is. It also is still missing a shield. But it's not particularly loud. It's just, I like mine to be silent because I'm very, very sensitive to sounds. Being that this is my go-to, I just like it to be quiet. It's already super smooth. I mean, it doesn't need any assistance in the smoothness department, but the volume could be a little bit lower. So we're gonna try this one-drop lube for the first time. It sounds really thin. I mean, I guess this kind of sounds thin too, but I know that it's not. I just hope that it's, I guess, thick enough for what I need it for. So it comes with this cute little child protective cap, which is great. So what I usually do is I put 4 drops in on different sides and then spin it to spread it around. And if I find that it's spinning too slowly, then I use some compressed air to force the extra out. So I'm gonna just do what I usually do, even though it says 1 drop is all it takes. But yeah, why not, right? Let's just do it the way I usually do. I can tell you that the drops are definitely bigger. I'm actually only going to do 2 because it's spread out so much. They're bigger than they are with the sewing machine oil. And I'm just going to take up my Pro Fiber cloth and rub off the excess so that my hands don't get all greasy. Well, I don't really notice any change. In fact, it might even be louder. Yeah, what's that, man? That is definitely louder. There's no question in my mind. Yeah, what's that about? The one-drops are, you know, their R188 bearings are just so silent. I figured the lube had to play some sort of part in it, but going by this, I would say that it doesn't. And I mean, I definitely put a lot of lube because it dripped through. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm going to blow the oil out, and then I'm gonna just show you what it's like with my sewing machine oil, because yeah, that's not really doing it for me. All right, so I'm gonna blow it off camera because I don't really have the room on my desk here. Oh wow, it's coming out like water. It's so thin. I think it's actually too thin for what I like. I mean, I know I'm not gonna be able to get all of it out, but I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference. Let me just do it a little bit more. All right, well, it feels dry to me. So here's what I do with the other stuff. So this stuff is awesome. I've used it for a whole bunch of different projects and spinners and whatnot. It's cool because it has this telescopic spout, and you know, it comes in handy more than you'd think. It just really allows you to get the right amount exactly where it needs to go. So as I mentioned, I do it in 4 different areas so that I get it to spread evenly. That did not go where I wanted it to go. Alrighty, and then I am going to wipe the excess off the edge because, again, don't want greasy hands. Ah, see, that's what I'm looking for. Although I really kind of feel like I should wash it in between putting the 1-drop lube in there. But whatever, I will just wash it another time. I don't actually take my shields off to lube it. I'm just doing that here because I did clean it with the toothpaste method, and I know a lot of you guys aren't quite sure how to get the shields back on, so I figured that I would kill 2 birds with 1 stone, eh? Alright, so I'm content with this. I am going to spray a little bit of it out because I can tell that it has slowed my bearing a bit more than I want. So let's see. Give me 2 seconds here. All right, now it feels perfect for me. Okay, so now comes the obnoxious, tricky part. So you have your shield. Whoops, of course. You have your shield, and it has a raised part and a lowered part. If you have the lower part on the outside, it is the correct way. And if you have the lower part on the inside, it is upside down. So you want to make sure that the part that's not raised is on the outside. You're gonna wanna drop it in the hole. And I usually shake mine around just to make sure that it's sitting as evenly as possible. Now, don't forget, as I mentioned, the pin is going to come into play again, so don't forget about that. The C-clip doesn't have a specific direction. So what you're gonna wanna do is take 1 corner of the C-clip, and you're going to want to put it under the lip that's here. Very kind of hard to show you on my camera because it would require too much zoom to really see it. But I do assure you that, oh, well, maybe you can't see it. The lip is there. It's right there. So anyway, you want to take your C-clip and work 1 of the corners under the edge. And you're going to want to keep your finger, or at least 1 of your fingers, there. Hang on, I see a dog hair. My dog hair gets everywhere. She's shedding like nobody's business. Okay, so you get 1 of your corners under there, and then you're going to want to keep your finger there, and then push kind of on an angle downwards to keep snaking it under the lip. And turn the spinner. You want to make sure that the bearing stays in the same place. And then once you get all the way around to the edge, you'll let go, and it might not pop under the lip it might pop just above where the bearing, the outer portion of the bearing sits. And all you need to do is kind of push it underneath the lip. So as you can see, both ends of my C-clip are back in. Now I know that that looked super easy and all, but I actually did it perfectly the first time. But there is one issue that these partial shields, why can't I get it to focus? These partial shields seem to have is that sometimes they don't sit evenly, and you'll end up having the shield off to one side where there's no gap between the inner race and the shield on one side, and there's a very big gap on the other side. Now, the reason that's problematic is because when that happens, the C-clip, even though it looks like it's sitting in the right place, it isn't actually sitting in the right place. And while, you know, initially when you spin it, it'll be fine, if you end up spinning it really fast, or if you clean your spinner with like a toothbrush or a nail brush or whatnot, or if you put it in an ultrasonic cleaner or drop it, it will pop out and you will lose it. I've had mine pop out in really inconvenient places. Thankfully, I've always found my my C-clip. I mean, it's okay, granted, it's only happened to me twice, but that's why I say that it's so important at this step to have a pin. And while I don't actually need to do it, I can show you what I do. I take the pin and I put it in between the inner race and the shield. The shields are partial shields, they're not full shields. So there should be a small space. And what I do is I go all the way around and make sure that the space between the inner race and the shield is even. And when I do that, I know that if the C-clip doesn't pop out while I'm doing that it's good, it's in there, it's solid. There's not going to be anything to worry about. So I know that I did it perfectly, magically on this first shot, but that is something that you should be aware of, because I don't know that you really want to lose your shields. I like my shields personally. I find that my bearing stays clean for significantly longer. I have to oil it less than I do with my other bearings. And I do tend to run with almost all of my bearings oiled at this point because my sensitivity to sound recently has gotten so much worse. But yeah, so in conclusion, 1-drop lube takes more than 1 drop and doesn't equal silence. I will try it in like some R188 bearings to see if it makes a difference there, but at least in the Loophole, it seemed to in fact make it louder. The stuff that I do wholeheartedly recommend is this Albachem Lily White lubricant. It's sewing machine oil. You can find it on Amazon for $5-6 or something like that. I recommend the Zoom Spout just because you can get the smallest amount in pretty precise places. Yeah, this stuff is pretty golden, and it's gonna last you for freaking ever. I mean, I've had my bottle for months, and it's down, I mean, I can't show you right way up, but it's down to here. That's all I've used. So this is gonna last you several years. I mean, I have 50-something spinners, so it's not like I've only used it a couple times. So yeah, that is the end of this tutorial. I'm sorry it turned out so long. I mean, I guess somebody was recently asking me for an unscripted video because they like my natural personality more so than my scripted personality. So here you go, fan. Anyway, I really do appreciate you guys watching it. I do hope that you learned something today. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to put them in the comment section below or shoot me a message. If it's someone from the Premium Spinners group, you can always, contact me on Facebook. So yeah, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope all of you have an absolutely fantastic day.